Yo, what's going on, guys? Nintendo Direct here, back it with another banger video. In today's video, you've caught me at a bad time, so I apologize for this whole situation. This video is going to be more an unscripted rant. I mean, I don't script my videos anyway, but there's literally no research going into this. Pretty much, this is pure raw emotion. I don't like making videos like this. I prefer having fun on this channel. I think that there's already so much scary bullshit happening in the world, and I want this channel to be a space where people can go and they can have fun and they can kind of take their mind off things and truly appreciate music. That's why I make videos, that's why I write, that's why I listen to music, is as a form of escapism. And that's even why I make music. But there is a real threat to that, and there has been a real threat to that for years now. And people are so quiet about it. I'm going to try and remain eloquently spoken in this video, but just a warning, this isn't a topic that I'm super calm about. This isn't a topic I'm super neutral about. I have my stance on this, and I want to share that stance with you today. There is no ethical use of AI in music. None. Now, a lot of people think of the use of AI in music as websites like Suno, for example, where you can go on to these websites, type in a little prompt, and in the space of about 30 seconds, get a free response with a song that is purely made by a computer. They make this song by feeding it examples of pre-existing songs, pretty much stealing other people's work, without consent a lot of the time, which is just, doing anything without someone's consent is the worst thing you can do. And that's not even me trying to make like a Dark Viper EU argument here. Obviously, this is an incredibly shitty practice. One, for consumers, they are then forced to listen to these terrible, soulless, awful songs. For the artists who are... Sorry, I'm going to shut my window. Sorry, I don't want background noise in this video. For the artists who have their work stolen, because that's what this is. This isn't... I'm sure there are musical artists that feed their works into programs and things and are interested in this side of music and art creation. But the vast majority, if not all, of these these self-learning machines is based on the theft of other people's work. And that's what the recent 1,000 UK artists thing was about. I have my own views on that. I think that it was quite a virtue signally thing, and that something like this would have had a lot more impact, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, when AI was still at a stage in music where it was stoppable. But here we are. I am not going to lie. I try and stay hopeful about these things. I think, we as... well, I say we as a species. Shout out my Theorian viewers, shout out my other kin viewers, but we as like a collective people, I will use that as a term, right? We as a global community, I would like to think that we would be able to come together and rise against this. There is obviously a lot of incentive to do this from major companies because, well, money talks. But I would think that we as consumers would have the critical thinking. Now, I have filed for AI releases before. And that is because a lot of the time with AI releases, they are passed off as real. I am going to bring up an example of an album that many of you may have not heard of. So this may come off as punching down. What's it feel like? That's a good song. That's not made by AI. But no, I can't remember what it's called, but it's by an artist called Chloe. I discovered this while scrolling through the new releases page on Album of the Year. Always stay plugging. Follow me. It's haven't thought of a name yet on there. Well, HTOAMY, but you know, it's the same story. I've been posting more reviews recently, so I would really appreciate it, and it would make me feel better after this rant. No, I'm playing. But I discovered this release while scrolling through new releases. I saw it as a brand new up and coming K-pop artist who had never released anything, and immediately I felt a bit suspicious. I will say I'm not super trained to AI music. I've been working to try and improve that, just so I can ensure that I am listening as ethically as I possibly can in this field. But I immediately noticed some things that were off with this artist. There was the fact they had like no monthly listeners. There was the fact it was just a song. There was the fact that when I Googled their name, I couldn't find them anywhere. There was the fact that their name was very horribly search engine optimized, like Chloe. There's so many people called Chloe. But yeah, their Spotify bio, I don't think there was anything there. The pictures of this artist, all the sort of cover arts and things were very blurry and hard to make out. And so I listened because I saw some really compelling reviews on this artist and immediately could hear something was off. There was something about the way everything was so sequenced and everything was so perfect. You know, I am speaking firsthand. I am a musician myself. Not a very good one, but I am a musician. I am a musician. I am. I tried to not make this too humorous, but here we are. I am a musician, right? I've been in the musician business since around 2016. I know for a fact that my mixing was absolutely ass even till about last summer. You know? Obviously people do mix and master. I've had learning experiences, but I've also I've had the privilege and the honor of working with many very good and talented artists who have taught me so much about this. But right from the gate, I wasn't fucking out here with like Metro Boomin mixes on my songs, right? Hell, they still have some questionable bits here and there, and I still go when I'm in the studio, and it's my least favorite part of making music. But that's it, right? But this artist had flawless mixing, almost to the point where it sounded robotic. And that's because it was. I realized this around track. I started to become wary around track 2, and then by track 3, I was fully realized. This is the worst album of the year. I am probably not going to include it on my list, though, because I do not want to talk about AI releases. Which is ironic, because that's what this video is entirely about. Now, people have their own ethical claims about AI. You know, there's the help it's giving cancer research. There's the fact that AI has realistically been around since people were replaced with machines in factories in like the 70s or whatever. I don't know. I don't know too much about history. That could be like 1800s for all I know. But you know, this has been a thing. This isn't like a new kid on the block. This is the person that built the street. But yeah, I don't think there's any ethical use of AI at all. I think with the cancer research stuff, good for them, good for cancer patients. One, if I, God forbid, touch wood, I would say touch wood, but I don't know where there's wood in this room. I think the wall is wood. If I or anyone I know was in a position where they had to get that surgery or they had to get that treatment, I know for a fact that I and 99.99999% of people I know would rather have that procedure done by a human doctor just out of not even an ethical thing, but out of fear. Because are we really trusting this machine to do things when the machine has been trained on humans? Like, I'm sorry, these machine learning things are just stealing information from us. Like, there's the same fucking percentage chance of error with both, you know? But like, even then, it's still fucking taking a job from someone. This is where we get into like non-music related discussions. So I'm going to try and keep this music, but I don't think that there is any way we can use AI where it is ethical. There is also the major environmental concern with generative AI. We've already had such an environmental crisis over our entire existence, really. I know people who are on both sides of this argument. I know people who are like, oh, technically climate change is a natural occurrence. And that is true, but we should still work to not pollute the environment and things. And we should still work to put measures in place to protect us and protect everyone else on this planet, plants, animals, from the harsher side of climate change. And there's obviously people like me who think we should be doing more to stop it. But that is kind of a virtue signal. That's kind of a virtue signal. Plastic bottle right here. I'm not sure. I think that's metal, but I'm not sure about the environmental concerns with that. Okay? No one's perfect with this. But I can't remember the exact number. So this is where the misinformation comes in. This is where I start misinforming the public. This is where I get the tag on my video that like, this isn't done by professionals, go learn about information here. But I read somewhere, or I watched a video, or I read an article, I can't remember, because I've done millions and millions of both about this topic, where I believe someone said that one like generative AI message, someone just put their TV on, one generative AI message is the same emissions as like 7 ovens running. Which, what the fuck? Like, that's kind of mind-boggling. Because people think, like, electricity, all this clean energy and things. No. Well, where are they getting the energy for this electricity from? Sorry, the lighting has got really bad. I'm going to turn the light on. Does that change anything? No, it doesn't. It just makes me look a bit more yellow. Look at the stars. Look how they shine for you. And all the things that you do. And they were all yellow. I love that song. Let's listen to Coldplay together. Go listen to fucking Parachutes by Coldplay once this video's done. I know you don't like Hymn for the Weekend. I don't like that song either. I know you don't like fucking Beautiful. I don't like that song either. But just remind yourself. Bones sinking like stones. Oh, it's such a good album. But that's besides the point. Right? We were already destroying our environment, and now it's like we're speedrunning that process. Why? Why? Because generative AI benefits no one. It benefits the people who make money, but it doesn't benefit the artists, who have their music stolen and fed into these systems without consent, and then have the prize pool on apps like Spotify and Apple Music shrunken down and down and down when that's already a very exploitative number by these AI artists that are now filling up these platforms. It doesn't benefit the consumer because, well, the consumer is now forced to listen to music that is made by a machine. You've then got the environmental concern. You've then got aspiring young artists who have no incentive to make music now. What's the point in making music? What's the point in spending 5 years learning an instrument when I can type a prompt in about 20 seconds and press generate and it will take about 30 seconds to give me a song? I don't even need to commission a cover artist. I can do that. I'm going to bring up some more examples where people view AI as ethical in this next section. I believe the song is called Now and Then by the Beatles. It was the final Beatles song, and it released to massive praise. Now, AI wasn't used to generate this song. AI wasn't used to, I don't know, do anything. But there was AI used to separate John Lennon's vocals from, I believe it was a piano. I have actually not heard the song. I just know like how it was made because there was a big kind of over it with people saying that John Lennon's vocals were AI. I personally still don't think this is ethical. There's two ways you could have gone about this. You could have released the song without them separated, which would have gave it a more human feel. To be honest, would have been more emotional to people. Like I'd view that as more emotional myself, hearing the original recording where maybe there were a few scuffed things. Or you could have hired a human mixing and mastering engineer. You are the biggest band of all time, and you can't afford a mixing and mastering engineer. Huh? Hell, I know like Paul McCartney has worked on mixing and mastering projects before. Was he too busy? What was he doing? You know? And I'm not going to say like, oh, if you listen to Now and Then by the Beatles, you're not listening to music ethically. Listen to what you want. But I think that is probably the biggest example so far. But there are also other examples that I'm going to go into. I'm going to throw shade at some of my friends right now. We have got some of the biggest bands in the world setting a horrible precedent for cover art. Now, this is where I admit fault. This is where I admit I'm not perfect. In the past, I have unknowingly used AI-generated cover art. I commissioned art from a trusted person, and this was in 2023 before I really knew about before I even knew that AI generating image was possible. And I got these images back, and whilst I wasn't really a big fan of them, I used them because this was a person that I trusted. And then later found out about AI generated cover art and things, and looking back, I can now see where these cover arts look AI generated. And I will be working to improve upon that, and I'm so sorry for my lapse in judgment. Where I will give myself defense, though, I was an uneducated person who was taken advantage of by a sketchy artist when I was 13 and 14. Let's take a look at a band like Dream Theater, for example. They've been on the go since the 80s, as far as I'm aware. I know about them because my mum listens to them, and my mum only really listens to music from when she was growing up. So they've been on the go for a long time. Easily one of the most known and most celebrated progressive rock bands. I'm just going to test that we are still recording. Yes, we're still recording. Let's go. I will now bring up an example that. Sorry, this is going to have horrible audio. Okay. I will now bring up an example that I was more affected by, and that is the Voids. Now, for those of you who are unaware of who the Voids are, they are a sort of side project of Julian Casablancas, who you may know as the lead member of The Strokes. One of the most celebrated bands in the indie rock scene. You'll have 100% you'll have heard songs like Someday or Last Night She Said. Like, these were some of the biggest songs of the 2000s. They were used in movies and TV programs, but they're also a band who have maintained their relevance for sure. I was just checking, and The Adults Are Talking has 500 million streams, which how? I didn't know that. I assume that song has had a life on TikTok or something, because I've never heard it on the radio or anything. But yeah, The Strokes, quite a massive band. And The Voids, the side project, used an AI generated cover art. And as a final example, I will bring up a band that if you aren't familiar with The Voids or Dream Theater, you will definitely be familiar with the band Tears for Fears. They had some absolutely massive songs in the 80s. You'll know them for songs like Everybody Wants to Rule the World or Shout, for example. Everybody Wants to Rule the World is one of the biggest songs of all time. And also, debatably one of the best. It's a really good song. But they used an AI generated cover art for a live performance they did, I believe. It wasn't an official album, I believe it was a live performance. Now, that's already a horrifying enough precedent, but I believe that the reviewing community, which is something I can speak on as a reviewer, please go follow my album of the year, has only helped contribute to this terrifying precedent. I'm not here to victim blame. I will say that we are not entirely at fault, but I think we definitely have some degree of responsibility in terms of critical thinking when we are processing art. I'm not going to name names. The people will probably know if they watch this, but I know someone who I believe gave the new Dream Theater, is it called Parasomnia or something, despite its AI generated cover art, at a score above a 90, I think. I don't know if it's still on their page when you look at their best of 2025, but it was there last time I checked. I will also bring up another friend who is a massive Strokes fan. Understandable, very good band. Who also enjoys The Voids and is in love with the new Voids album, to the point where they have said it's better than some Strokes albums. This is gross. Really gross. These aren't bad people. In fact, these are good friends of mine, and I would love to shout them out in other videos. But I still feel off about it. There is, for example, the reception to the song The Cut by Dave Blunt's. I already have my own issues with that song, but the most relevant issue with that song for today's video is the use of its AI generated cover art. The slurs and homophobia and kind of fat phobia, to be honest, that has got Dave Blunt's to where he is gross. And I've done a review on that. No, but that's besides the point, right? Now, AI generated cover arts aren't our only problem. We have to now contend with AI-generated vocal filters in songs. The most prevalent use of this that the majority of my viewers will know is Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign's Vultures 2 project, where I can't remember who, I think it was it like Sci-Hi, the Prince or something? I don't know. They went into a studio, recorded a verse, and then put it through a Kanye voice changer in the demo of the song. There are also examples of this where it's not the artists making the song, but their voice is used. I will use the song Heart on My Sleeve by Ghostwriter as an example. That's a throwback. I know for a fact that some of y'all forgot that song, but that is a throwback. And there's still reviews on that song. They're like, oh, this I don't like AI, but this solo search and rescue. Search and rescue, like, as someone who has been partial to some Drake songs in the past, Search and Rescue is a terrible song. I agree. It is awful. However, I will take a human artist's worst song over AI's best song any day. Now, what I will say is these aren't procedurally generated. These aren't just made by a computer. How I believe this is made is an artist's likeness is fed into this AI program that can like make a voice changer similar to like a, you know, remember like text to speech Sam or whatever, right? But instead of text to speech Sam saying it, it's now Drake or The Weeknd or Travis Scott or Kanye West or a myriad of other artists. How there's even examples of people who don't make music, like Jay Schlatt, for example, who I'm not too familiar with, but I'm aware he's a pretty popular YouTuber. But I get these on my For You page, or my recommended, I should say. I'm not on TikTok. I'm going to virtue signal about that. I'm a better person than you because I'm not on TikTok. No. But I get these AI covers on my site. A lot of the time it's AI covers. Occasionally you have an example like a Ghostwriter where it's just an AI song. I would say the biggest victim of this, but he's not really a victim of this. He has perpetuated it, is rapper and accused with serious evidence. I'm just saying accused so I don't get sued. Abuser, Playboy Carti. There was an entire AI Playboy Carti album released. And then there was another one called I Am Music, and it's got a pretty good reception on Album of the Year, and I am pissed off about it. I know people who have gave this thing a 99. I know any score for this album above a 5 is invalid, because it is not Playboy Carti's album. Again, I don't know how many of these songs are AI generated. Well, how many of these vocal takes are put through an AI filter. But pretty much, in my opinion, every single song where Carti isn't doing the flow is AI. He was already accused of this on Timeless, which I believe is sat at now like an 84 user score. I can't be the only person that's fucking disgusted by this. Right? No, my friends all love this album. Now, I will say the best song on the album does have an AI Carti verse, because the best song on the album is the Young Thug track, which isn't even Carti's song. It's like, why can't we have like the Young Thug and Gunna version of that song? Like, I would take that. I know they don't really work anymore, but like, I would take a solo Young Thug version of that song. It's so hard. Even Ty Dolla $ign's verse is good, but then you got this AI Carti verse. Fuck you. Now, I don't know if he did it on the song 2024. I would have to re-listen to that song. I've not heard that song since, I think it was 2023 that came out. But yeah, what's going to be realistically the most popular and talked about album of the year. How, when it is AI generated? I used to think we could beat this. I used to think we could, we could rise up as a society and fight the evil AI, but no, that's not the case. When does this end? That's a song on the Voids album that made my worst songs of the year list last year. When will the time of these bastards end? Terrible song. Some of the worst autotune I've ever heard. Julian Casablancas sounds like the thing that made the cover art. But no. I probably have a few more points I've missed. Let me quickly jog my mind. Oh yeah, one more thing to talk about. And that is a use of AI that people tend to be a lot more lenient to. And that includes several creators that I really look up to. I will not name names because I've not tried to start drama with these people. These people are still massive inspirations to me. But I believe the artist is called, what's their name? Is it like Glorb or something? That makes these AI comedy songs. I still don't think this is okay. I understand my experience may be different as someone who kind of grew up during the Nyan Cat days of YouTube. That was my Coco Melon, if you will. But I remember things like M&G TV's Ash versus Red rap battle and things like that. Y'all never thought I'd bring up that M&J TV video. That shit's gas. But do you remember when people actually used to like rap his characters and do impressions of them? Actually, do you remember when people made YTPs and things of songs? Now they just AI generate people saying things. I am so sorry, but as a consumer, Glorb is not entertaining to me. This video is calling people out. I'm going fucking meet the Grahams on you hoes. I'm going fucking meet the GPTs. That was the worst joke ever. Second worst joke ever compared to Glorb. I'm aware that there are other versions of this. There are hundreds of other AI artists. Now, what they do is similar to how Playboi Carti made his new album. Honk, me. Get a friend to go in the studio, lay some bars down that were probably written by AI too, because you know the AIs that can write essays and things, they can write song lyrics as well. And then they lay that down, and then they put it through a voice changer. Do you know how impressive it would be if someone actually rapped in the way that fucking Mr. Krabs speaks? That should be insane. I imagine there's probably examples of it out on YouTube. But those examples are suppressed in the algorithm by talentless, soulless AI garbage. I'm sorry, I'm getting pissed off, and I know that this video comes off as extremely condescending, and it's also incredibly hypocritical with my past. I am aware. I am very aware. And I am sorry. I just, this makes me really angry. Like, I try and be this, like, calm, nice person to people, but no, this just makes me angry. This is a topic that gets me heated. I try and keep the peace and things. I'm not keeping the peace anymore. If y'all want to unsubscribe because I said that, feel free to. But yeah. I also found out about another thing. Apparently, people on Album of the Year have been AI generating their reviews. What is the point of that? Genuinely, what is the point? Okay, that will conclude this video here. I am so sorry that this video is kind of terrible. For a second video back, well, technically third, go watch the second channel. Same name as this channel, but with a 2 on the end. Technically third video back, but second video back, and I'm like, I hate you! Stop using AI! Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed somehow. I didn't really enjoy recording this. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. And yeah, you guys are amazing. Please leave a like on the video if you liked it. Comment down below your thoughts on this topic. I'd love to. Things like this are extremely nuanced, and I'd love to open up a discussion about it. But that will end things. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe for more music related content. Go follow my album of the year. I love you. Bye.